everywhere we go, people want to know who we are and where we come from. So who are you and where do you come from?
So I'm Dwayne Edgar and I'm from Henrietta Street Flats.
I'm Karl Taffe and I'm from Greek Street Flats.
And you are both from where?
In a city running club. Hi John, this is Edward.
Don't start.
So tell me first of all, were you friends growing up or as kids, or how did the relationship between the two of you come about?
Honestly?
Yeah.
I'll tell them, Karl. The first time I probably met Karl, he gave me a headbutt.
No.
Yeah,
No.
We won't get into it. I know. Come here. Listen, me and Karl's been friends since we're young, playing football and stuff. Okay. And then obviously through school, Karl was obviously a year ahead of us. And then eventually did a junior cert, skipped fourth year, went to fifth year. And that's when the crack happened, Karl, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's when she hit the fan, wasn't it? Two class clowns. And
come here, tell me this before we get into that, right? So tell me what it was like growing up. So both from inner city, what was it like for you growing up? Who did you grow up with and so on? Yeah,
so living in the flats is unbelievable. Man and dad were fantastic. I wanted for nothing in regards to love and attention and food. Anything I ever wanted was always there. So I can never fault my upbringing. I'd like to class myself as a gentleman, and I'd like to say I got that from my man and dad, from the manners that was put on me and the guidance that they gave me throughout my life.
To be honest, same as Dwayne, I grew up in the flats and I'd stay there for the rest of my days.
Would you?
Yeah, I love the flats. I think if I was to move from the flats, I'd struggle. You know what I mean? And it's not that there's any difference between flats and houses or whatever like that. I just love the community. We're in the flats, we're in the inner city. We're right in the inner city. I don't think you can get more central. We're just 2 minutes from town. And just the hustle and bustle of it. If I was to move 10 minutes away, it'd be like the country to me.
See, it'd be hard because you're living in flats, you come out of your flats, you're literally at the pictures, you're at Pennies. Any food you want, it's literally 2-3 minute walk away from you. Then it's the crack, then it's all the L ones, then it's everyone being together. In the, like, growing up in the, you never didn't have a friend. Until people start headbutting you. But, that's the joys, man. And I always say personally, unfortunately, the way things are in the world, eventually when you do go and buy a house, God knows where you're going to end up. So your question, I'd love my kids to have my upbringing that I got in the flat streetwise. You can't beat that. You cannot teach it. You go to any college or get any PhD or any certification, you cannot be taught streetwise. It's literally just, as I said, you get it from being in the flats, and it's unbelievable. It's like a language in a way, because it makes you very witty. It makes you very, very aware of what's going on around you. Even if you're away and you're in a place where you're not supposed to be, you straight away say, right, I'm now in my comfort zone here. Or if you're talking to people, you can... Another thing of it is you can go from 1 level to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. So your personality from being from the flats can open you up to so many opportunities, I believe.
It's mad because we drove, so my mum is from a civil place, and we drove down Portland Row there recently, and she said, I'd love one of those houses. Like, my ma's got 70 next year and she'd still love to go back to town. Yeah. She'd just love to go back into
something special about it.
Yeah.
And we're just lucky to have it. You know what I mean? You can be brought up anywhere, and we just happen to be from town. And as I said, I wouldn't change it for the world. And like that, people from outside of town probably wouldn't change their upbringing, you know. But I'm happy where I am, and without growing up in town, we wouldn't have what we have. You know what I mean? And being together, myself and Dwayne, setting up the running club and all that, it's great.
But as you were saying there about growing up in the flats, do you, like, because when my parents moved out to Coolock, they all, like, every single person, nearly except for 1 or 2 in my court. So I live in a court, and basically it's 5 houses, a big kind of courtyard, and then 5 houses. But I'd say out of the 10 houses, 8 of them were from the inner city. Yeah. So I've been blessed to have kind of like the upbringing that you had. It was brought, because my ma brought what she learned in the inner city and in town to where she lives. And then the flip side of it, you go to Bettystown where we used to live, and I knew no one. And, you know, there was Germans, there was Filipinos, there was loads of different community out there. But just bringing it back to the fact that I do think that even though you're from the inner city, if you eventually go on to have kids, you'll instill that in them as well.
Yeah, 100%. You'll carry on what we've learned from our mas and dads, and it'll always be passed on through generation. And to be honest, I think it's important that you pass it on. You know what I mean? Never be ashamed from where you're from or anything like that, because that's who you are, and that's the reason why you are, because wherever you're from, it molds you. And that's the way I look at it, that you carry that on.
And do you think people are ashamed to be from the inner city?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Some people, yes. Some people, no. I'm going to explain why. Job interviews could be one deferred to say, I'm from blah, blah. Give an example. Me and him. Do you ever see Step Brothers? And your man comes behind you, that fella in the tuxedo?
Yeah.
That was me and him about 3 years. Job interviews after job interviews after job interviews.
I'll never go with a job interview. We went out to Blanche one day. I'm not messing with you. You know we can talk.
I've heard.
3 hours.
But wasn't
3 hours in a job interview.
Sure was God.
I sat in a coffee shop. It was where was it? Ballycullen.
Yeah.
Industrial estate or something like that. I'm sitting in a coffee shop. It's only a small one. I think it's the only one in the place. I'm sitting there. I said, right, have a coffee and some tea. Then I'm finished sitting there twiddling my thumbs, and then next of all, lunchtime comes in. Where the fuck is he? I said, yeah, I felt like a prick, had to get another coffee. I think we went through 3 or 4 coffees by the time he came out.
And I got the bill. No, what happened was your man wouldn't stop talking to me. And I love a chat. I always did, but I said, just fucking let me go. He offered me the job there and then. It was a new company. It was a sales job.
I'm like, did you get the job?
I did, but I didn't go back because he wouldn't shut up. But I go back to, anyways, the Tom at the inner city, and then people, we got the job interview. People are afraid to say where they're from, put on their application. And one thing I always said in an interview was, they said to me, what's the best thing about, say, Dwayne? And I say, personality. And they'd look at me to say, what the fuck is this fella? But it's the truth, because as I says, I love a chat, I'm very open, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I can literally talk to anybody about anything, because as I says, my personality, which I think is my greatest attribute, you can mix with anybody. If it's someone that's gay, if it's someone that's down the dumps, if it's someone that's fully hyper, if it's someone that's just nice and mellow. And that's another good bonus that we have in the club as well, where I have such a strong personality where I'm hyper and I'm outgoing. Karl is more subtle and Karl's more relaxed. So the members, in a way, don't realise they're getting someone that's fucking head case in a sense. But Karl is nice and mellow. So when the people that come to the club that hasn't got strong personalities, who did he show you there? Karl. So there's a great balance in between that.
Right, so tell me about the club. Tell me what happened. Why did you set it up, and where and when?
So the running club came from COVID. And people obviously say COVID associates with negativity. I'm fucking delighted COVID happened, because we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation about the club. So we got laid off work in March, and Karl actually signed over 100 press-ups a day. And he said, do you want to do it? No, I couldn't do a press-up. Yeah,
it was Laura Lynn
the Laura Lynn Foundation. Yeah. So we started training like lunatics. We were on WhatsApp. We were putting food in. We were driving each other. A couple of us. And then we started doing C-dips. We started cycling. We were running. Before we know, we were getting literally crazy fitness levels. And we were saying, there's nothing in town, blah, blah. So,
don't blah, blah, blah. Tell me, there's nothing in town.
So we were saying there's nothing in town, such as running clubs, or there was no community aspect of running, cycling, or swimming.
Okay.
So we were always saying, we had a coffee club, me and Karl, when we were laid off work doing the job interviews.
We just go for a coffee and we call it the coffee club, and 2-3 coffees a day.
Yeah, and we were always
sometimes 4. Dwayne got caught in an interview.
You know, we'd get a labour, and I'm telling you, true as God, our labour to go on coffees, because we'd nothing else. All we had was each other, and that's as true as God. All we had is each other every day meeting for coffees. And before we knew it, we go to the post office on a Tuesday, we collect our labour, and this is true. And we'd spend our money from Tuesday, say to Saturday, and then we'd be like, bollocks, we're broke, you know. But going back to, we always say in them little coffee clubs, we'd love to have our own little thing. So as I says, we are training. I said, fuck, I'm going to put a video out. So I made a video. I put the video on Instagram. I got 20,000 views.
What did you say in the video?
So I spoke about the reasons of the club, how we're going to go about it, and then we gave a start date.
So take it back just for a second. You're sitting having a coffee, and who says, why don't we do this?
It wasn't actually even about just the run club. We always says we'd love to have something together. Like,
something of our own. We've always been part of football teams and sports clubs or whatever, but it's always nice to have your own thing, to do your own twist on things or whatever. And with the running thing, as Dwayne said, with the community aspect, it wasn't like we were looking for the best runners in our city or from outside. We just wanted to bring people together during them times where there was nothing. People were working from home and they'd finish work, they'd sit in the house because there's nothing to do.
And was that born out of you being sitting at home? And I know you've had each other, but thinking, Jesus, if I didn't have Karl or if I didn't have Dwayne, I'd be on my own sitting house.
Like being lost, 100%.
Another aspect of it was, I don't want to get into it, but it was the COVID thing and people saying scared shitless. I personally didn't give a bollocks. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't give a bollocks. Now, Karl took a different kind of approach. He kind of stayed at home. His ma's a little bit older than my ma. And that was his approach. My approach, I didn't give a bollocks. The best fighting chance I gave myself was being strong and fit. So, as he says, over those couple of months that we are training the whole lot, we just said, there's fuck all to do. The summer was nearly coming to an end. We put the video out and I said 20,000 views the video's got. And then we were like, whoa. And when I say whoa, because so many people saying, I'll be there. So we calculated up that we had about 150 yeses under the video. 36 showed up for our first ever run. And
take it back again. So you decide 6 o'clock, 6:30. Where was your first meeting point?
Polo grounds.
Okay.
And that was at what, was it 10:30 of a Saturday morning, Karl?
Probably 9:30 or something. It was between 9 and 11, somewhere in between there.
So what was the Friday night like for the two of you?
Don't know. We didn't know what to expect.
Shitting.
Because I always say, could have been expecting. We didn't know what to expect. You know, as Dwayne said, there was 100 comments underneath the video saying, I'll be there, and then tagging friends and family and whatever. And then we were on the phone saying, wonder how many turn up. And we would have been happy if 5 people turned up, 10 people.
The goal we had behind it wasn't about, I always had a feeling to get this big because there was nothing in town. And when you get people from town together and you're having the crack, there's no beating it. I always knew it'd get this big. I didn't think it'd grow this big in a year. But our goal behind it was we were out running together 3 times a week. So we said, if you can start bringing people out with us, it'd be great. So we said,
it wasn't even. I remember we'd be out running and you'd have people even DMing us on Instagram saying, come out with us during the week or whatever. They're not working. And that's kind of where the whole thing came from as well, with the club saying, right, let's start the club and these people show up and then more people show up, you know.
So 36 people arrive in the polo grounds in Phoenix Park. And what are you thinking?
What got me was, and this was the drug of the whole thing. 36 different people, 36 different fitness levels. And the reason why we're good at what we do is because we adapted very quickly and we organised people into their small little groups of their fitness levels. And that was one of the biggest things that we done. You look at the club of the last year and we'll speak about the achievements and stuff, but that was the first biggest step in the right direction, was literally adapting to what we had. Because it's the first time doing stuff like that, with large numbers, not knowing fitness levels wise. And we've seen people say, right now, they're not going to be able to run. They're going to be able to run. And it was crazy. Some people never ran before they came to the club that day and they done a K and instantly they were hooked.
And that's the drug. You know what I mean? You're chasing it then. You're saying, right, let's get to 2K, let's get to 3K. And then there's a thing called runner's high. When you're training and you're running, your endorphins are released and the feel good thing. And you're saying, that felt great. Let's go again. Let's see, can I get to 2K? And that's the way we started up. We started up 5 and 10K programs. People couldn't run the length of themselves. We're saying, right, strip it back. Let's run 10 seconds, 20-second break. So on and so forth, week in, week out. And now there's people running marathons, half marathons, 10Ks that showed up on that first day.
It's funny, even Karl, when he says that about 10 seconds, I think people when they came to the club, we have to run 5K without stopping. It's completely the wrong way. And this is social media. And I'm one of these kind of guys that looks at social media and says, social media sometimes is used in the wrong perspective. And people obviously look to people on social media. And we're constantly saying, stay in your own lane, stay in your own vision, put your tunnel vision on, focus on you. And then people start coming to the club, they start realising this is actually not as hard as what we thought it was going to be. And then they're having the buzz, they're talking to Mary about EastEnders or whatever they're talking about. And out of nowhere, they're like, oh, I'm at 3K. And they're like, this is fucking brilliant. And as Karl says, it just literally kicks on and it's an addiction. And it's one of those things, even for us out running or whatever we do, how far can you actually push yourself? That's like, in your own mind, how far could I actually physically go if I applied myself in the correct way? And before you know it, then you have people eating healthy, small little lifestyle changes. For example, is you have people that's living in the top balcony in the flats. They're walking up and down the stairs every day. They're out of breath. They come and join the running club.
Top balcony for life, isn't it?
Top balcony, the top balcony. But you can see small improvements. They're losing weight. They actually look better. Their skin looks great. In themselves, they're going around, they're bubbly, they're more outgoing. And that in itself, for us looking at that, that's the win. Seeing people happy is the win.
So tell me about some of your members, like, so not initially just the 36, but overall, because when it comes to something like a running club, and there is a running club around in Santry around the corner, and just that initial, will I join because are they going to be all fitness freaks? They're like, what kind of walks of life do you have?
I always say the hardest thing is turning up. Never mind the running. The hardest thing is turning up, knowing that there's going to be a group of people there that you mightn't know. But I guarantee there's always one person you know, or is a friend of a friend. And the people that we have, they're salt of the earth. They won't let you feel alone. Me, Dwayne, we can only be at 2 places at one time or whatever. But if someone sees someone struggling, they'll help them. They'll fall behind them saying, right, I don't need to run fast. I can go at their pace. I'll help them. They're at where I started. And that's where the community comes into it. Like, it's great to see, because me and Dwayne don't even have to tell them to do that. We don't tell them to do it. They just do it. And that's how the club progresses. Like, there's so many different backgrounds in our club. There's people from Mauritius, Donegal, Kildare, England, like Brazil. But
even Karl touching upon that, and people from different nationalities, you have people that has autism, people that have special needs, you have people that are literally overweight and can't run. And as I said to you, it's one of those things where, and we don't class ourselves as running coaches. We never put down that we're running coaches and we'll get you. We never expect anyone to do anything that we can't do. And first and foremost, we never ever expect that. And when we get people to the club that has, if they have special needs, if there's some hint of autism, if there's some hint of anything that they're suffering in their life, that's how good. And I always say we are what we do is because we can adapt in that situation. And I go back to the personality thing where you know certain people, you know how to behave with certain people. And as I says, if there's someone outgoing and bubbly in the club, yes, they're going to show it to me first of all. But if there's someone that's real subtle and real quiet and it's not real outgoing, they go to Karl. And then before they know it, then when they start to build their confidence, or then if they're not really in the humour of being loud one day, vice versa, they'll swap in between. And that can reflect on the club in so many different ways, because we've all been there. We play football. If you're fighting with your mate, I go up to football training years ago, and when I say, what's wrong with you? Nothing. What's wrong? Fuck off, nothing is wrong with me. But deep down, they know. So now we know who our members are, our proper core group of members. So we know if someone comes up to the club and they're having a bad day,
you can pick up on it straight away. It's a little arm around them.
What's wrong with you? And before you know it, they open up like a can of worms, they're talking to you. And by the end of the night, they're going home, they're like, thanks for that chat. And a smile on their face. And that's another thing, another benefit of the club for us. And people like say, why do you put so much time into the club? We're hooked. Honestly, I wear my heart on my sleeve. It's the best job I ever done. We set up that running club with him. And I'm telling you now, the reason being is because the enjoyment we get out of it, seeing people smiling, seeing people doing 5K, 10K, pushing themselves right up to marathon. There's no better feeling than seeing someone work so hard and getting the rewards. It's an amazing experience.
That's the thing with training or running around like that. You have to put it into it. You know what I mean? You don't just expect to run a marathon. You run many K before you hit 42K. You'll probably, to run 10K, you'll probably run, I don't know, probably 100K and you're training up to it. You know what I mean? Just,
we were talking about this morning, weren't we?
What?
So, Maria and Tasha are the backbone of the club, which is so Maria's my girlfriend and Tasha be Karl's girlfriend. Yeah. And they're the backbone of the club. The club ain't always rosy. It ain't always great. It's at the being, like people say, geez, the lads are flying. Trust me, it's fucking took. It's took arguments between me and him. It's took arguments between our relationships.
There's been no arguments between me and Dwayne before that. And it's just little things saying what we do, and Dwayne be saying, I'll do this, and saying, oh no, let's meet in the middle or whatever, and you will bump heads or whatever, but it's all for the good of the club. You know what I mean?
We are talking today about the marathon. So we're going through the Royal Marathon in 4 weeks. We're taking out of those 36 members that we brought on the first day, so that came on the first day, 14 of them said to do the first marathon. So that's a year. The club was set up August last year. So now we're a year on. So those guys have been working over the last year and to building themselves up, so taking the courage to book their own marathon. And we're only speaking about it today at breakfast. It's actually Carl's girlfriend's birthday today, so we had to,
oh God, sorry.
So we are winding her up. We are winding her up, and you were saying about we're doing a 28k run tomorrow, which will be the second longest distance of our training before we head across the Rome. We're just saying the amount of sacrifices. We like a gargle, we like the party, we like to have a bit of food out, bad food and the whole lot. We like to enjoy lives. But for a certain period of time, you have to sacrifice these things if you want to achieve, like anything in life. If it's saving for a house, or if you're looking to drop weight, or if you're looking to buy a car, there has to be sacrifices along the way. And we were saying the amount of K this team for Rome training has accomplished.
K is in kilometres.
Mm-hmm. It is a short period of time. Jesus, Carl, fucking hell. But no, we were talking about it in today and saying, like, I think we've ran, about 95k since the start of the month the guys have ran.
Probably, easily.
24 September. Now that'll be added up to 100 and odd tomorrow when they do that run. And that's what I know we're going off topic a small little bit, but that's exactly what we're saying. Things don't happen overnight. This club didn't happen overnight. And we'll speak about it in a couple of seconds. We've ran so many events in the club, right? So people look at the club from the outside and say, fucking hell, that's some setup. Yes, it is a fantastic setup, but it didn't happen overnight. What's in the club at the moment, we have put back in. So obviously we run events and the whole lot. So taking us 10 events to build the club up to exactly where it is today. If it's banners, if it's signs, if it's a start and finish line, if it's working off the people such as for the t-shirts and medals, all that kind of stuff, that takes time. That takes time to build up your contacts and stuff. So people obviously look now and they come across our video of the club and say, that's some setup. It didn't happen overnight. And it's the same with the training for the marathon or training for anything. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to work hard to get where you want. And I think at the moment the club is getting so much for yourself. Even having us out here is fantastic, and the club is getting so much of a pump now, and everyone's jumping on the bandwagon of the club. It's great, but it didn't happen overnight.
Did anyone ever try and pull you down?
I only spoke to Karl about this. It's coming. Trust me. I'll be honest with you.
We expect it. It will come. You know, when you do get a big name or whatever like that. And I'm not saying we're a big name, but when the club grows, you will get people saying, "Oh, this and that." You know what I mean? But we know we're doing well. We're doing the good for the community. But that's all we want out of it.
And please don't think I'm being negative. It's like anything in life. People will build you up, and people will the hype train, love it. And as from town, and this is very honest, from town, community is fantastic. But there's a minority of people that will backbite the bollocks out of you, right?
There's begrudgers.
100%. And as I said to Karl, it's only, we do everything by the book, right? And we that was the first thing we wanted to do with the club, do everything by the book. Was get affiliated with Athletics Ireland, get a membership covered, do all the things that we didn't even know how to do. And we've done all that. It was to cover ourselves along a journey. So if anything does happen, if someone falls on a run and stuff, it was boxing clever. And I don't want to even speak too much on about it. But with every rise, there's going to be a fall. Mm. And we've said so far, every event we've ran so far has been perfect. And that's not talking saying, we're the best in the business. But eventually something's going to go wrong. And I can't wait. Why? Because you learn. You learn how to deal with that situation.
And we get great numbers up there every training session. And I remember, don't know what happened this week. We turned up to the Grange Gorman and I was pissing out one morning. Saturday morning, was it?
Yeah.
It was Saturday morning. And I think 4 people turned up.
Yeah.
I was injured at the time. And Dwayne was going out running with the group and saying, what the fuck? And
they
heard us because we were used to getting 30 people up, 40 people more. And we were like, fuck, why is only 4 people turning up? But I don't know whether something happened that week.
With COVID, there was a high number of cases.
Maybe something like that, and we were like, what the fuck? And then I knew Dwayne was down about it, saying, this is only a little, whatever it is, it's only a little slip. And within the week, then we were back to normal numbers. But it did hit us, and we were like, oh, fucking hell, we had to do something wrong here. Don't know. You know what I mean? But
for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, you've 25 plus, some nights 70, some nights whatever. And then we found out there was 4. And we're like, this is a wind up. We're going back in the messages, the WhatsApp group. Did they go through? You know, we were questioning. And that was a little learning curve. Learning curve of what went wrong. But all it was the fucking weather. And we're there panicking. The tail was going home.
Not even that. It's probably our expectations as well, because we know we can get the numbers. And then when it does drop low, we're like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? And it's nothing against numbers or anything. We don't need to have 70 or 80 people out running. If 2 turn up right, okay. But it was just that one time. We're like, oh, fuck.
The first time it happened.
Yeah, the first time it happened, it was a bit of a shock, like.
And then tell me who has helped you along the way other than your girlfriends. Give me their names again, sorry.
So, Maria is mine. Maria's mine?
She is yours.
Jonah. I'd love to meet her.
Yeah, you want to get her a ring?
Don't you
then you can say mine.
Well, in fairness now, before we start moving
Maria,
on,
I hope you're listening.
This is being recorded, Carl. Carl's with his girlfriend. Many years, Carl?
10 and a half.
And there's still no ring on the finger.
What's her name?
Tasha. They have to put up with a lot. Do you know what I mean? We're all saying, right, we'll do this, we'll do that and this. And when can we go for a meal or whatever? And we're saying, no, we have a run. But now, they're so into this. They're doing the first marathon next month. Last year, they would have told us to fuck off. We'd be up in the park running with them. They'd be saying, nah, fuck off, you know what I mean? But it's brilliant. And I think that's their drug now as well, is running. They found something that they enjoy. They go to the gym or whatever, but they enjoy this and they support us with every single thing that we do. And to be honest, we can't thank them enough for it.
That's nearly a ring. Who has supported you? So has anyone come to you and said, lads, I want to get behind us?
So the only person that ever put themselves out of the club and unfortunately passed away this week was Anthony Flynn. And I'm not joking with you when I say the only person, he was the only man to step up when nobody else gave a bollocks. We're a year on in, nobody else still gives a bollocks. Me and Karl have ran that club ourselves. Anthony, what he done for us was, we met him one day and Karl was actually in work. I think I was still laid off. Lashing rain, never forget it. Met him up at the Blacker Street Cafe. We had a coffee and he says, what do you want? Told him the plans, told him the vision. I'll get behind you. He set us up as a non-profit organisation, which we are. And then he sorted out a bank account and stuff like that. All that kind of stuff. The stuff that me and Karl didn't know about. With the CRO, all that kind of stuff he helped us with. And we had many meetings with him and we were only talking about it. I gave him a headache.
We go into down to NRC Helm Homeless, into the office and saying, oh, for fuck's sake, goes, what's he going to say, Karl? You know what I mean? Because you don't know where Dwayne's mind is at. He'll come up with something and he'll be saying, where the fuck did that come from? But
I think the thing with that, I'd like to think and relate myself to Anto in a way. If I want something, I'll get it. I'm goal driven. And if I get something in my mind, I want it done yesterday. And unfortunately, sometimes I have to realise it can't be done that way. And he was exactly like that. So even as much as I gave him a headache, I think he realised what we wanted. Now, don't get me wrong, there'll be times where I'll be there and I'll be peppering Anto, and out of nowhere, like Step Brothers, Karl pops behind the head, and then Karl will pepper him, and I'll be like, see, you was two fucking mouters, get out.
He'd be fucked out.
But in regards to that, he was the only person that put the foot in the right direction, that had a bit of authority or a bit of a power in the NRCE. Now we've massive sponsors. When the club was starting to grow and develop and get legs, we sat down with Karl and I said, Karl, what I think should happen now is we should build a team around us, right? So we love running, we love triathlon. So we are trying to get a runner shop on board. Okay, we had a bad experience with one, very bad experience with one. Ditched them, went to another runner shop. Lads, absolutely fantastic, which is Run Logic. They're based out in Fish Amber Street. So that was the runner the running shoes and the whole like that. So then we says, right, Karl, next, which would be a bike shop for the bikes, for the triathlon. My cousin works in a shop called the Bike Institute. Keelan runs it. Absolutely amazing guys, aren't they, Karl?
Yeah, they've been brilliant. When we start doing the events and all that, we start doing duathlons. They'd be telling people from the club, anybody down the duathlon this weekend, bring your bike up, service the bike, and they wouldn't look for a penny.
What's a duathlon?
It's you'd run, cycle, and run. So then the distance can vary. So our first one was
2K. No, 2K run, 2K cycle, 2K run.
That's what it was.
Okay.
And then we went on to do another one. But they've accommodated us brilliantly. They say, right, come up, they look after bikes. A lot of people have bought bikes off them and all that because they hadn't got bikes. But yeah, it's a great team that we have around us with the Run Logic, the Bike Institute.
John was like, wasn't it, Karl? It was like finding friends in a sense. We still speak to these people, like the local shops, Central North King Street, Spar North King Street, Declan Donald's Deli. We had to find a fuel to keep us going on the duathlons. GRX, the boys in GRX gives us discounts on our fuel. So the whole idea was for us, it was cheeky. Go to these people and get discounts for the club, because I'm not going to say here people from town don't have money. People from town have an awful lot of fucking money, and if they tell you no, they're lying. And let's be honest about it. So the whole idea was not to get things for free, because I don't believe in getting everything for free. How long in your life can you get things for free? You have to work for something.
You pay your way.
You pay your way, and you reap the rewards on that. And the boys gave us discounts on everything, literally everything. So we have for our members to be engaged. Another incentive for our members was to get them a discount with the runner shop, the free bike services. It was discounts on the fuel. So that was the whole idea, was to kind of give back to the members in a sense as well. Like some of the members come up with a pair of like Vans on or Converse running.
That'd be me.
Not yet.
That'd be me.
You know, and Karl hit the nail on the head. Karl say, no, if you want to stick at the running, invest in yourself. Get ready and takeaways the next 3 weeks. Buy yourself a pair of runners. It might cost you 150. You'll get a discount off the lads in Run Logic. But them runners are going to last you 5-6 months. You know, so that was the whole idea behind building the team around us, was to have people we could go to when needs be, and to get the discounts down for the members as well.
So like building a little community for yourselves within the inner city.
Exactly. Like when we start doing the events, then we had the local up in what's the name of that?
The local up
Bally.
It's a Togga Valley Business Park.
That way. Jamie and his team, they be catering with sambos and stuff like that for after the event for people who took part.
I've a question for you. What sambos are noise at Jamie's or Rebecca's?
Put them on the spot.
Me on the spot.
They not mine. I didn't make them. There you go, James. I didn't make them. You're grand.
But yeah, they'd cater for us and they do the sambos, and people coming back after doing it. And you know, it was that little touch people appreciate it. You know what I mean? Coming back after doing the hard bit of work, having sambos laid out, drinks laid out, the whole lot.
And as the events went on and we learned about the events and how to structure the events from the start time to the finish time and accommodating, we try and accommodate everyone. Honestly, we can't look after everyone. There's only two of us. So we know somewhere along the line people are going to say, fuck them two, because we can't look after everyone, and that's just the way it is. So we start.
In what sense? What you mean? Tell me.
So, for example, is we can't give everyone our attention.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, we try our hardest. There's only so much you can do.
We do. We open up to them, like after a run or something. You might get 3 or 4 people coming up to Dwayne. 3 or 4 people coming up to me. That's okay. You give them your time, and then we open up our phones for them. You know what I mean? We'll give they all have our own personal phone number. They contact us through that if they need to talk personally. They have the running page on Instagram. Everybody is looked after. I kind of went off there, but we do try give it to everybody, but it isn't possible with the amount of numbers. But we do try our best.
But that's what you said at the top of the call, that you have your members who then are watching everything. They've taken your lead and seen what you've done and say, well, look, the lads can't get to X, Y, and Z.
So let's help this person and that person.
So it's full circle.
We brought 1.5 new coaches on. Right. I say 1.5. Darren was one. Darren's personality is absolutely amazing. He's actually a disco dancing teacher.
I've heard of him. I don't know him, but I have heard of him.
Honestly,
I'd say everybody knows.
He's unbelievable.
He's everywhere.
His patience, his time, his energy, his drive, his passion. Can't fault him. And then we have Jay, which is more relaxed and subtle and doesn't want to be labelled as a coach. But little does he know, he helps so many people with the information he passes down to them. So that's why I say 1.5 coaches, because Jay's like, don't call me a fucking coach. Like, we got Jay a t-shirt with coach on the back of it. I'm not fucking wearing that, you know.
And to this day, it's still lying idle.
Really?
But yeah, just finishing off on that point of we can't get to everyone. It's impossible. We have too many people, and we're so grateful for having the amount of people we have. But the way it is, you're not going to keep everyone happy. And the quicker we realise that with ourselves, the easier it was. There's only so much you can do.
Because it can get in on you, and you can say, Jesus, did I miss someone here tonight? Did I not get? And you'll be saying, oh Jesus, what's her name? Come up to me, and I forgot to take it back to her, you know, because I'm talking to Dwayne and stuff like that. And then I'd be thinking, they're thinking he doesn't care about me. He thinks more of this person and that person, you know what I mean? And it's just the nature of the beast, isn't it? And as you said, the full circle with the members, there's always members there happy to help. They mightn't be coaches or anything like that. They're only passing on the information that they have, and we're forever grateful for that, because we want people helping each other out. There's people that come up, total strangers, that's best of friends now, and they could be only in the club a couple of weeks, couple of months, and they'd be meeting up outside of the club. We set up runs of a Saturday. If we're not running Saturday as a group, we'll put in the WhatsApp group and we'll say, right, do X, Y and Z, and you'll see them all texting in the group, and there'll be a group of 4 and 5 out running this way, 4 and 5 running that way. You know what I mean? And that's what I enjoy seeing. There was
one thing that really hit home for me. A small bit of a softie, I'd say. And there's one thing that hit home for me was we had an English lad come across. He was living on his own. And he took the car very quickly. Carl started telling me his story. I was like, what? Fuck off. Oh, I don't want to get too much into it, because the fella was pretty much on his own. And I was like, you could see when he came to the club, he was mixing with everyone. Out of nowhere, he opened up. Boy, God, did he got a personality. He's from London, real cocky geezer, kind of one of them. But out of nowhere, he just literally opened up, and he was buzzing off everyone, and you could see the buzz. And to me, I was like, oh, he's going home to sit on his own. You know, after the club. And it was really one of those things. People say, you don't know how much you're helping people. But people say, you don't know how much you're helping people.
But then you find out the story and you're saying, you want to help them more.
Yeah.
And you're saying, it's hard.
The club is 100 miles an hour. And be honest, the club is a full-time job on top of what we do as our own jobs. And you can't take in something because the train is going a million miles an hour, and there's non-stop. It just keeps going. And there's little parts you sit back and you say, oh, fuck. We're here now. And there's a little bit that you enjoy, and you hear people's stories and you say, oh, no way, I don't believe you. And it hurts a little bit. Like, we got the phone call about Anthony Dwayne the other day. Hurt. Literally hurt.
It was. When he reached out, we didn't go looking for anybody or anything, and he took the time out of his own busy schedule. He would have been a busy man. And he texts us and he's saying, right, we'll help you in whatever way we can. And paperwork and all that, we wouldn't have been good with all that on how to set up as a non-profit organisation and this and that. And that's what he done. So he'll always be a massive part of this club. And
there was one time, Carl, wasn't there? Me and Carl Bladen had an argument this night. It was actually our first argument.
Down in his gaff. He
says, right, we had to go through these forms, and it had to be recorded in meeting minutes, all that kind of stuff. So we get out to his house for a half an hour late, and we're winding him up. There better be fucking pizza down there, the whole lot.
This will show us, yeah.
We got down a half an hour later, right? And
the pizza was there. The boxers were there, and we go, you hungry cunt, you're after eating. He opened it.
Wasn't one bit of slice gone out.
Didn't touch one thing. He goes, do you know what? He goes, no, I was waiting on you. And stuff like that.
You know, and we talked about it the other night, like, it was one of those sinking feelings, like, Jesus, like the English fella, Jesus. And that's another thing about me and Karl. We're soft. We've all been through hard times, and people keep saying to us about the club, you don't know how many people he's helping. Personally, myself and himself are going through the hardest year of our lives with our own personal stuff. People don't know about that, and as time goes by, little things will be out and revealed when we're ready to speak about them. But we're going through the hardest years of our lives, and I'm going to be honest with you. Without that club, personally, I don't think I would have been the same person, because I focused all of me bad feelings, bad emotions, bad negativity, and I turned them into a plus in towards the club. And there's many times where I probably pissed him off about it. I'm mad for events, do this, get this sorted, get this. But that was me channeling all my bad problems into a positive, which fed into the club. And I'm not going to sit here on a high horse and say, well, we're out at the club but I think it actually excelled and helped the club, because I didn't want my mind to go to where it was and what was going on at home.
Because where I was trying to be a friend and say, take time to yourself if you need it. I'll do the club, I'll whatever. And I was just looking after him in that way. And then it is things like that. You don't know how people react. Some people need to do something to look after themselves. Some people can sit at home and they can gather their thoughts and get back at it a week or two later. But Dwayne just needed to do whatever. And people wouldn't have seen what he was going through. I knew what he was going through, and people wouldn't see that, because he's such high energy and this and that, and the mind is going 100 miles an hour. Right, let's get this event going, let's get that event going. And it helped him massively. Without, I would have helped Dwayne if I hadn't got the club. But at the same time, the club probably helped him more than I ever could have helped him, to be honest.
I always say, no matter what, we don't have an awful lot. We don't have a big group of friends. I'm delighted. You only need one. There was always three of us growing up. Jay's living in Australia, and I hope when he listens back, he'll be smiling. Haven't fucking seen Jay in 3 years now. Haven't we not kind of 3 years?
Touching 3 years.
Touching 3 years. And we
December.
always, the three of us was the core group, the class clowns. Now bear in mind, Jay would be the cute cunt to get away with it all in school. Like, he got expelled the last day of school. But we always say, you don't need an awful lot of people. And I always say about Karl, you need one solid friend that's always there for you, and I'll never ever take it away. That's something money can't buy. And I'd like to think it's a two-way system. That's why we're so good together, and that's why we're always buzzing, we're always having the crack, and we're always like coming around here. You want to see the two of us messing. You're not that some girl's wrong house.
She walked out with a cup of tea and her pajamas. There's Rebecca there. She goes, no, I was saying, right, well, look. She goes, where are you going? So she pointed us down, and then we went down. Where did we go? We went around the corner. And we knocked her in another gaff. And I seen the stuff being done in the gaff. I goes, these are only moving in here, Dwayne. So I knocked, and the outfit and the sun came out. The sun is obviously only at the moving in. He goes, I goes, oh no, we're doing a podcast, and then I think we're at getting you a follower. So he goes, what's the name of the podcast? Give him the name. And he goes, oh, I'll have a look at that.
And then some of the granddad went by in the car and he goes, Rebecca!
But like, that's our personality. We like to buzz off people, and that's how we get on. What two buzzers did. We'll go out, the two of us could go out on our own and have the best time of our lives. We don't need a lot. We'll just buzz off each other's energy. We know how to walk off each other.
And I think that comes back to being who we are, really, Karl, because we had everything we ever wanted, but we didn't have, I'm not going to say we didn't have an awful lot. That's one thing about living in the flats. All you need is literally a bit of crack. And I constantly come back to that, because when we put the first video out, and I think I said a bit of crack in the video about 20 times. People probably thought I was fucking selling crack. But I kept saying all we want to do was have a bit of crack. And that's why our club is so good. And we can't thank the members enough. The reason why it's so successful is because the members we have in place, they are all buzzers. There's so many different personalities, so many different backgrounds. But when they come to one as one, if someone was to look at that from the outset and say, they're definitely from inner city. They're definitely, if you spoke to people in the little policy, they're definitely living in town, because it's the witty banter, it's the crack. Now we'd go up there some nights and we'd slag everyone, me and him. And he'd be like, fuck off you. There's some girl, we're in the group one night. I'm not going to say it
Say
now.
what happened. Farting. I was trying to get where you kept talking.
We're in a circle.
She knows who she is.
And she farted.
We were at the down the warm up or whatever, and then we were doing stretches, and then next one, and we know who it was, and we called her out, but she didn't shy away at me. She laughed, and it was a bit of crack. And
that's setting her now. Every time I say, don't start sharing yourself. And then she just
I'd kill you.
This is what I'm saying. This is the group of people we have and the community we have at the moment. We're at a stage now where we can wind each other up in a sense, you know.
Comfortable.
Exactly.
And it's not that we don't really class them as members or clients or anything like that. They're friends. We're all friends. Everybody up in that club is a friend of mine. It's a friend of Dwayne's. And that's the way I like to look at it.
You know what's great as well, Carl, when you look at it? Darren, right, is brilliant. He does collections. And for someone's birthday, or if there's something, like, for example, right, one of the girls was going through a hard time, we all chipped in. He organised it, sent her flowers. At that time, I was going through a bad time in my life. Arrived down to my house after a certain day, loads of food for me, my mum, my dad, my brother, and the whole lot. If it's someone's birthdays, we organise balloons, cakes, and whatever they like, and then we get everyone to sing happy birthday. And that's another positive and another reason that kind of separates us, I think, from different clubs, different organisations. With the running club, not many people in their club is ever involved in an actual physical club. They didn't know what it was like to be involved in a big, massive environment. We're playing football all our lives, and we always says certain things. It's a load of bollocks. And we always say, like, we get gear, right? This is how bitchy we can be. We get the gear and say, it's fucking poxy gear. So now
we can pick what gear we want to wear.
We're in control of how it works. And there's probably people in the club saying, this fucking gear is wrong, you know? But it's our own little stamp on something. And I don't think there's a better feeling. For me personally, sharing it with him, it's our own little stamp on our club, what we've built, what our plans are, what our goals are, what our visions are. And as Karl says, the friends that we've met along the way.
Like we've played football all our lives. Great memories, great friends. But the amount of friends we've created from this club and from running alone is amazing. And we hope that people can emulate what we're saying in a sense that they've got so many more friends. And it's not that you'll always have your core group of friends, but just even walking down the road and you see what's her name or what's his name, and like, how are you getting on, and just small chatting.
Just be like the Pope going through Cable Street some days.
Yeah,
that's true as God. You're going down to get a coffee, say piece with Tasha or Marie, and they just say, oh, for fuck's sake, how many more people can you talk to?
It take you half an hour to go through town, like, you know what I mean? Because you had to bumping into this person and that person, and it's all from the running club, and people saying fair play to you, I'll be up and this and that. And it's great. As much as they'll probably give out and say, oh, I can't fucking go anywhere, which is everybody taunting you or whatever, but it's great.
Do you know, Joel Harrington said something, and it was a quote taken and put somewhere, and he said he's sick and tired of the inner city being described as deprived.
Yeah.
Because it's not deprived because of your community.
Yeah, you've the core values, like as in like community, support, the whole lot. And it's true. 100% that's true.
I believe, and people say he's a wanker, I believe if you dwell on your past and you dwell on what's gone on in your previous life, you'll always stay there. You'll never move forward. We put a post up on the page today, and it was something similar. It's not about where you're from, it's about where you're going. If you haven't got that vision, you will always be left in your sadness, and you'll be always, when can you ever move on? I'll be honest with you, my dad is a country. I used to some days be down and fuck off. Get up, get moving, get active. Stop fucking living in the past and start looking into the future. And he's probably looking and saying, that little cheeky cunt of mine. But it's the truth. And I don't like when people put a negative with the inner city. Oh, well, it's a deprived area. It isn't. It's bollocks, a deprived area. If you want something, you go and get it. Regardless if I live in a 2-bedroom flat, me ma, whatever I want in my life, I'll get it. He's the exact same. It doesn't have to be mansions, Ferraris. For me, a happy life and a simple life is your own house, kids, a wife, get married, and that's it. People buy into whatever you want.
Some people overcomplicate it. You know what I mean? They're chasing these things You need a Ferrari or you need a Moncler jacket.
Or if someone's going for certain things, yeah, but I'm from a deprived area. You're not from a deprived area. You're living in a deprived mind. That's the harsh reality. You're living in a deprived mind. I believe whatever you want to be in life, you can be. All you need is a plan. Like the club. The club, as I said, didn't happen overnight. We had a plan. Look where we are now. We had a 5-year plan, the club, right? The 5-year plan of the club was to introduce the running, build our members up, build a team around ourselves, introduce duathlon, introduce triathlon. And for 3 weeks' time or 2 weeks' time, the 4th of September, we're taking 6 lads down to do their first triathlon. In 13 months of the club, we've completed that 5-year plan. So that gives me confidence. It gives him confidence on what the next step is.
What you can do. Because you can limit yourself sometimes, and it's only down to yourself that you limit yourself. You break them boundaries. Don't limit yourself, because you can do much more than that. You'll always say, like, you go back to what David Goggins saying, most of the time you'll probably work at 40% of your capacity, thinking that you're at your limit. You're not. You can walk beyond that, and it's only when you break that barrier you're saying, Jesus, let's go. You can do so much more. It's that little comfort zone you sit yourself in. Get over.
Like I was saying to Karl, when the club came about and when we were thinking of the club, please don't think I'm being an arrogant person.
I have to tell you, I really like you. No, I do. I really like his boat. I really like his boat. But I think you're very clever. You're a very clever young man, I have to say to you.
And that comes back to my personality of reaching out and getting on with so many different people. You learn along the way. I'm not going off what I was going to say.
I know,
you're flattering me. You're flattering me.
I'm at to throw you completely.
No, you're okay.
But I had to say it because I have to say it's a few and far between.
It's back.
Go on.
It's back.
Go on.
So when the club came about, I knew this was going to happen, right? And I'm not talking about Conor McGregor style here. I visualised this, and I knew all this stuff was going to happen. I knew the papers were going to want to get involved. I knew the radio was going to get involved. And there's bigger things down the line that people are going to get involved. And they may say this and say, he is being arrogant. I'm not being arrogant. The club is not about me. It's not about him. It's about our members. It's about the members of what they achieve on a day-to-day basis. For somebody, wherever they're going on, struggles in life, everyone struggles. It gives them a getaway. We're with the club 4 days a week. Right, 4 days of the week, if it's 3-4 hours that they're out, they feel energetic. They feel like they can do anything. And if we can pass down little symbols of what we believe in to them people, if it's in their job, if it's in their family life, if it's someone that, let's just say, wanted to go to a certain place in the world, maybe believe, oh, Jesus, if I knuckle down and worked hard in my savings, or if I done this, or if I done that, it might get me there. And that's my mindset. And it probably took me a long time to believe in myself. And over the last year, the club has really opened up my eyes to what anybody can achieve in the world. Not because what we've achieved as me and Karl, but to see people that couldn't run 2K running 21K in the space of 6 to 8 weeks. Like, whoa. And that's no bullshit.
Can I ask you a question? And it's not an arrogant question, and it's not an arrogant answer, but are you saving lives?
Possibly. Yeah. There's times where you'd go home after a run and we'd go on to the running page, people are sharing their stories or whatever, we're resharing them. Then you'd get a text saying, "Lads, thanks so much. You're doing amazing things. You've helped me in this way and that way. Without this club, I don't know where I'd be today." And that's what drives us, because we're saying it's great coming on here, because you'll probably have an audience that we can reach that doesn't know about us. Just like when we went into the paper there the other day, there's probably people reading that paper, probably people on the radio that we were on that wouldn't have social media, and we're getting to target our audience. Then the more we get noticed, the more people we can help. You know what I mean? Like, it is, social media is a massive thing, but there is a lot of people still, probably the older generation out there without social media, and you're saying, right, how can you reach them? And then it's through the paper, through radio, through podcasts, and the more people we reach, the more people we can help.
Karl is 100% right. This is going back to the drug of it and the addiction of it, and where you want to do more and you want to run more events and you want to get more people in, because then you only realise everyone's battling something in their life, right? The more people we get to the club, the better it is for everyone. Truthfully, the more numbers the club generates for the inner city of Dublin, the more benefits we're gonna get. The more people that comes could be having problems, and the problems may show you away for a while. Going back to when we used to play football, someone would say, "What's wrong with you?" Your man's probably boxing the head off you, and the gaff still 16, your man's still bleeding, batching you. But for that hour in football, you forget. For that time you're out running, talking and listening to your music, you forget. It's a break, it's a getaway. And with COVID at the time, nobody was getting a break. Nobody was getting a getaway. And then we finally realised, Jesus, Karl, this is not just about getting people out for a run. We're actually really helping people here.
We would have thought, right, just let's get them fit. Let's get them to 5k, 10k, whatever the goal is. But it's helping them beyond what we thought we would have been doing, getting them fit. I was going to say something, I can't remember it.
But even to that, right, I'm a firm believer. Anyone that says they know it all, they don't. You're constantly learning in life, right?
We don't know everything.
And we're learning, I was going to say on the job, but it is a job. It's a full-time job, the club. It is a full-time job. We're learning on the job. We're learning of ways to deal with people. We're learning the ways of how to understand people, what way to confront them in certain things. For example, if you want to push somebody too far, how far can you push them before they turn around and give you a smack?
Because there's some people you can push them and they do need that push to go, and like you say, right, let's do 10k in so many weeks, and they'd be like, oh no, fuck off, wouldn't be able to do that. Saying, come on, push. But you're pushing them in the right way. Some people you'd be able to push and you'd be able to be, say, aggressive in pushing them towards that 10k, saying, come on, you can run 3 times a week, you can run 4 times a week. Some people might need you to step off a little and be more supportive and saying, right, we'll go at your pace, and just need that arm around them and do it that way. So as Dwayne said, it's different people, you deal with them differently. So, and that's what
where does that learning come from?
At home.
The flats?
Does. At home, from how you were brought up. Your mother, your father, how you brought up, and it's going back to that working class. My mother was out working since 13 years of age, 14 years of age. That was the norm back then. And you're saying, she can do that, I can do that. You know what I mean? Why show you away from hard work?
But not even the hard work.
The learning
of, you're like empaths, like in the sense that you're like, you can really feel someone's emotion, and take it and go.
Honestly, and the flats, you walk out your flats and you look across and you have 40 gaffs in front of you. 40 of those different houses have different peoples, such as from young, old, people could be gay, could be black, could be any different race. You can't treat everyone the same. You have to treat them differently. And as I said to you, from growing up, if you had friends and there was stuff going on in the house or whatever, anything, you can't treat everyone the same. And that's what I'm coming back to. The learning curve was learning how to deal with different people on a different day-to-day basis. Like if you go to a job and there's 20 lads in the office, 20 of those different guys have 20 different stories. Everyone has a story, everyone has a background. So you have to understand and put the feelers out there. How can I deal with this person? Can't be loud with this one. I can't be shy with this one. I can't say stuff about certain things. So it's all about dealing. The more people I believe you deal with on a day-to-day basis, the more you learn about someone and their personality and what way you can approach them at any given time. And
that's a life skill.
It is.
It's dealing with people and knowing how you can deal with someone. Going in, talking to this person in that way and talking to that person in a different way, and knowing which way you can, right, I can do this with this person, I can do that with that person. And it makes yourself grow in a way that you become more, I don't know, what way would you say, universal. Like you make yourself open to any type of situation. You don't go in with the mindset, right, this is me and this is why I'm going to talk to this person and that person, because that won't work with everybody. It's not that you have to have a different face for a different person, but at the same time, you give people respect, and if you respect them, they'll respect you, and that's the way we deal with people. Like you don't need, I don't know what way to order, but that's
do you know
that's it.
A lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
But as I just said to you, these are few and far between. These really are.
We were at one last week and we had the team time around. And as each week we go by, the distance is being upped. And the girls, bollocks, they were getting really tired. Now, I get on well with this core group. So I started pretending to be a dog running, barking, jumping. But before we knew it, we got 2 or 3K past where we were. And they're like, you fucking little wanker. I know you're fucking messing, but fair play. You had to get us there. Now, if we had new people in the group, we couldn't go around messing, pretend to be dogs, barking. They'd be like, I'm never coming back to this club again with that Jack Russell. And that's the thing of understanding of when to be yourself around certain people. It's a life lesson, as Karl says. You have to know when to be you or when to be kind of a bit more relaxed and I can't start going around like a dog. And it was funny because they said even now the thing on the runs are, what animal am I this week? And we were running then last Friday night and the girls are messing pretending to be lions. Now people are probably listening to this saying, what the fuck are them lads doing? But I guarantee you, those group of people training for that marathon, they'll never forget them little funny moments. But even though they're running, they don't even know that they're going past 2K, 3K, 4K. They're like, oh, and that's the buzz.
And it is. It's when you're doing them longer distance and you're finding it tough and you're saying, Jesus, another 8K to go. How am I going to do it? And then you start messing, you start talking about something, you keep your mind occupied because everybody kind of goes in on themselves when it does get hard and they're battling with themselves and the way I'm barking, you're saying, well, you start engaging in it and you start laughing and then next of all you find yourself doing it and you're saying, what the fuck's going on here? But it works. Like you're just trying to keep people's mind going instead of thinking about 8K. Just start talking shy. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Just keep yourself going, keep yourself rambling. And before you know, you'll finish your run.
And it's funny that you say that. We done last Christmas, we done 10,000 steps a day with Anthony Flynn. So we wanted to
give back.
We don't ever want anything for free. Never want anything for free in the club. So we wanted to give back. So he helped us set the club. He helped us set the club up. So we wanted to give back. My uncle was homeless, and it wasn't even about him. But it was just saying it was coming to the time of Christmas, and I never forget. He used to always come home on Christmas Day because he couldn't get drink anywhere. And we were saying, what could we do to give back? So Anthony Flynn came on board with the club and everything was going great. So we done 10,000 steps a day to
15.
keep... 15,000 steps a day to keep the cold away. Jesus, relax yourself. Will you kick me under the table? And we done that challenge and that brought us from October into November. So that was 15,000 steps a day to keep the cold away. So the whole idea of it was actually to raise Karl was right, to raise €15 for a sleeping bag. And we were going to top it off then by doing a 50k charity run. So we were out, doing the run, and this is going back to talking about people trying to help you, such as if I was barking to the girls. It was the longest distance I ever done. So we ran from my flats, which is Boughton Street, out up over the summit, back around Rings End and back towards Eamon Street. And the last 8K, I struggled bad. I was cramping, I felt tired, I was fatigued.
You're going to talk about the end of the run?
No. Oh, we'll talk about that in a second.
I'll talk about that.
But Jordan, one of the lads, was like to me, "You're looking forward," and me and Karl have this phrase, are you looking forward to the Christmas? Could be January, are you looking forward to the Christmas? And one of the lads says that to me, and I just broke me bollocks laughing because it was coming up to Christmas and he didn't even realise what he was doing. And for the next couple of K after that, I was laughing, cramping. We'll go on, Karl, tell them about the last bit.
He was out on his legs at this stage. I wasn't able to do the full 50k because I was injured at the time, so I done on the bike I done 40k on the bike and then I ran for the last 10k.
And he wasn't even supposed to run.
I was at that stage then that I could kind of sort of get back running. So we were running and Dwayne was struggling. Anthony had organised a police escort into Eamon Street and we didn't know what to expect when we got there, and the police were driving us up or whatever, and we were getting there, and then next of all, we turned onto Eamon Street and the crowds, everybody from the club, this was all organised between themselves to welcome us back to doing this or whatever. And next of all, we were all running in a little pack, and next of all, Dwayne just fucking takes off. And me and Jay looked at ourselves and said, what the fuck is that happening there? It was like a resurrection. He just took off, their hands in the air and all, and it was just that buzz of the people.
It was energy. I would have done another 50, and that's being very honest with you. I feed off people's energy. That's who I am. I think I've ADHD. My man never got me tested. She's probably raging because she probably would have fucking had a big mansion with the money she would have got for me. But the truth is, God, I feed off people's energy and I'm very energetic and I love the buzz. But seeing all those people there, me man, like finished the last couple of K with him, struggling for the couple of K beforehand with the lads, I literally got a beat up my arse and I just took off and it felt great. But when
His car couldn't keep up with him.
But when I stopped, I was like, oh, I'm bollocks, you know. Yeah. But that given time, everyone there, the club, I mean, what we raised, 14,000 euro.
14,388, something like that. No. And that all comes back down to the club members because
the sponsor cards.
Yeah, we set up an online link to donate through that, and then we gave out sponsor cards, and every member that we had in the club within that time took a sponsor card, and they all come back with money on it. And it could have went from €20 up to some people €600 more. And without that, like they went out of their way to get sponsors. Like, you know, when you're in school and you get the sponsored walk and you're going around knocking on doors, they done that. They brought that into work. They shared it online, and we wouldn't have got that money just the two of us. It was a team collective, and a lot of the time, me and Dwayne are praised for what we do, and it's always our face out front in the paper, on the radio, on podcasts. We'd love to have some of our members come with us, but there's just too many. Mm-hmm. We need to get a bigger house, and have them come with us. But I
think sometimes they think we do be up at the club, we'd be talking to them, and we just keep saying thank you. And I think they think we're going off our rocker, but we actually can't thank them enough for what they have put in. Without them, the ship don't sail, the club don't go. But because of the time, the effort, the energy, the determination, the will not to give up is the reason why we're sitting here having this conversation. Because let me tell you, if we had 2 members in the club, do you think we'd be sitting here having this conversation?
No, you wouldn't be recognised. You wouldn't. And it just wouldn't happen. And that's where I go back to saying is, the more the club grows, the more people that recognise us, the more people we can reach, the more people we can help. It doesn't mean mental health. Could be down to fitness, could be down to reaching a challenge of 5k, 10k, full marathon, whatever it is. If you want to just run with us, meet new people. If you want to challenge yourself for 5, 10k, if you want to challenge yourself for more, if you're there for your mental health, doesn't matter. We're happy to have anybody from any walk of life. The club comes down, Inner City Running Club, that's the name of it, that's where we're from, we're based there. But the doors are not closed to anybody. And that's where people are from all over the place. There's people that travel from out this way into town to run with us.
There's from Templeogue, Raheny, Crumlin, and we're like, there's running clubs out that way,
and they don't miss it.
It's not about the running clubs over there. It's the crack. It's the crack.
It is. They just connect with the members that we have, and with that, like we could get rid of them members and take on 80 new members, and it wouldn't be the same. It would not be the same, and you probably wouldn't get people coming to us. You know what I mean? It's just that group that we have there. It's special.
We always say, don't we, Karl, though, to whoever comes to the club, come, try it. It's not for everyone. If we get 10 people, we might keep 5. Over the next couple of months, you might keep 2 of them. But keeps adding to the people and stuff like that. When you're shy and stuff, we always know, we've realised over the last year, whatever new members we get, let's just say we get 40, 50 for a new 5 and 10k program. We might only get 30 for race day because people will drop off because it's not for everyone. And we don't expect everyone to come to the club and be, oh, this is great, I love it. And that was another learning curve, and that was another thing to kind of adapt to.
And it goes back to the 5 and 10k programs where we're saying you get 30 people doing and then 15 drop off or whatever. And then next of all, then 15 people will come back for the next one, and they'll see the previous 15 people, and then next of all they're going for 10k and they're saying, Jesus, you are flying, I'd love to be there. Just, if you want to do something, just sacrifice a bit of time.
Stick with it.
45 minutes most, you'll be with us 3 times a week. At the moment we do 2 sessions a week, Monday, Wednesday, and then Saturday we'll pop into the group, do our own thing. And that comes down to what we're trying to do is, it's not that we're trying to give ourselves a day off on the Saturday morning or whatever. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give people, it's great to run with a group, But don't get too used to running with a group. What happens if you don't have the group? Just stop running. We want people confident, going out, running on their own, putting on their runners, out the door. Fuck what Mary or John thinks, saying, oh, look at her running up the road. Doesn't matter. Just go, look after yourself. And that's what we do when we're in the club. People will run some lot of different in-between runners, some fast runners, and then you'll get the slowest runner on the group trying to keep up, and you're saying, don't mind them. Don't have to come back first. Don't have to keep up with them. You're at a different fitness level. They're running the last 2-3 years maybe. You don't know what their background is in training or anything. Focus on yourself. At the same time, have a bit of crack with who you're there with, but focus on yourself.
So I have to get you back to Tash for our birthday. The anniversary was a couple of weeks ago, yeah?
Yeah.
You had your big event for it.
Yeah.
And going forward, what's the plan for the club?
Going forward for the plan for the club is full-time employment. Be very honest with you, and there's no point of hiding behind this. No. We've devoted so much time and so much effort. I don't want to work in an office for the rest of my life. I want to be involved with my own company or my own thing with Karl. That's the foremost the plan. In regards to bringing more people on board, yes, we want to start getting involved with schools. We want to start getting involved with kids. We want to start getting involved with youth services. But at the moment, we're not getting an awful lot of backing of people in the community, such as, we won't get too much into it, but for the last year, we've run this club on our own. As I says, Andy Flynn's the only person to help us. We need help. We need backing. We need funding. We need a serious amount of money pumped into our club. The reason being is because on average, we're taking about 700 people a week training. If you look at all the money that's being pumped into different projects and different things around the inner city, it's a fucking waste of money. If people are listening to this and want to get involved and want to give back to the inner city, pump your money into the club and find out exactly. Like, if you look at what we have at the moment, we've done that off. We give our monthly membership is €10. We have ran the club of 82 cents per run. That's how much it works out as, 82 cents per run. And you look at the backing of the team around you, of what's behind us now at the moment, such as a start line, finish line, a post.
That's where all that comes from.
That all came from that.
It's all from the members. It's all generated within each other. But if we had more backing, we could do more. We could make it bigger. We could reach more people. We could hit the schools, hit companies or whatever, you know.
And again, this is a question, and it is a question I'll ask it. Obviously, there was the devastation with Anthony passing, but also you must have thought, God, the fucking club now with Anthony gone.
Well, that's something that'll have to be thought about. At the moment, it's not even in the minds. Yes, it is kind of how to be rectified. He is on the board. He's a secretary on the board. And that's going to be a learning curve for me and Karl. How do we deal with that? How do we go about that now? Because
the things we say, right, we have to do this, and we're saying, I don't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to do it.
That's
Ring Anto.
It's the bonus though.
You know what I mean? So as much as there is devastation, I don't. When I say we'll have to grow. We'll have to step up.
Like when I say the bonus, I don't mean the fucking bonus of him dying. Jesus, don't think I'm taking that.
Know that.
I mean the bonus of it is we have to learn ourselves. We have to find our own feet eventually. And that's going to be a positive for me and Karl, because then in a couple of years, I'd like to think in a couple of years' time, someone would come to me and Karl and say, I'm thinking of setting this up. I'm thinking of doing this. And I'd like to give back to those people and say, well, this is how we done it. This is the plan that we had to go through. This is the platform. This is the steps 1, 2, and 3 that you must follow in order to do it correctly. And I'd love to be able to sit down with someone with Karl and say, this is how you do it, because
we're at the helping them the way he helped us. And then by keeping the club going, it's keeping him a part of the club. He'd be a part of the club. He's always going to be there from the start, saying, Anto helped us get this club from where it was to where it is now.
I mean this. We're going 1 year. Right, we're coming in nearly into the 13th.
It's mad. It's actually mad to think it's 1 year.
Only person, hand on my heart, it's the only person that put his foot out for us and says, right, I want to help this.
As in a governing body or whatever like that. With shops, we've already said it. Shops, garages, bike shops, the whole lot. They've helped us. They were in the community.
Yeah, but you should think that more local councils should be helping us.
Outside of that.
Yeah. And what does the funding, like what will the funding do for you? What, like, I know you with the vision, it is going into the schools, it is building a brand, so, but what will the funding do for you?
So the way I see it is, we want a running track. We want a running track in the inner city of Dublin. I've seen so many developers throw these big fucking buildings up in town and take away our community. And it's not getting political and starting stuff. It's the truth. Town is not town anymore. It's literally not. We have this old conversation saying once the mobile phone comes in, Dublin is gone. And no, that came from an old football manager, but it's the truth. You see all these buildings getting thrown up. We don't have a clubhouse. You know where a clubhouse is? My shed. Everything is fitting into my shed on top of bikes and the whole lot. Someone's probably listening to this and saying, I'm going to smash his shed up.
There's nothing in it.
But it's the truth. We don't have a clubhouse. We don't have somewhere we call home. Every event that we run, we keep a medal and a t-shirt or a medal and a half zip and race numbers off that event.
Hoping that one day we'll have somewhere to put that, to hang her up on a wall and say, this is the clubhouse. Look at what we've done from the start, and having them little bits of memorabilia saying, Jesus, remember them when we had fucking, you were walking out your shed or this and that, like, and that's what makes this story special as well. And it goes back to what Dwayne is saying, is in all these apartment blocks and student accommodation and all that. Town is different now from what it was before. So look at what they're doing to Moore trying to scrap all that. The Romanians and all have it ran down to bits, and I'm no way racist towards it or whatever, but it's shocking to see. Town is bad at night. It's horrible.
Go on, sorry.
I wouldn't walk through there with Tasha at times saying, you don't know what's in it, like, you know what I mean? And it's hanging around in groups and drinking or whatever, and why are they not moved on? You know what I mean? If it was me and him and a couple of others, you'd be moved on straight away.
But even getting back to the funding point of things, and if money was pumped into the club, we ain't out just fucking ordinary Joe Soaps. Fully qualified gym instructors, plyometric speed and agility, lifeguards, first aid. We're not just two average lads that don't know fuck all. We're qualified in certain things. Let's just say if we had a little clubhouse, if we had a little small gym and we start doing small private sessions, like the plan going forward for next year is 5K and 5 and 10K programs from mothers dropping their kids to school. So if they're not working, if they've nothing to do during the mornings, because we're not hitting, the only times that we get, because we're working at the moment, is the evenings. So we see, honestly, this time next year, I believe it'll have 500 active members in that club. The reason being is that's adding schools, youth services, and hitting morning groups with people that we haven't been working with at the moment. So let's just say if there's 15 mothers want to do a 5 and 10K program, we work with them for 8 to 10 weeks. If it's somebody coming out of recovery, if it's drug or alcohol addiction, and they're coming out of recovery and they don't want to start going back down bad roads, well, we'll give a platform to those guys. We can't do that. We need help. And we have, trust me, we have all the plans, initiative. Karl calls it the hamster wheel. It doesn't fucking stop. It literally goes. The minute I go to bed, the minute I wake up, it's going. What's next? And I love it. And that's my thrill. And as I says, that's what got me through my hard time this year in my life. And I believe eventually someone is going to come knocking on the door. At the moment, the club is buzzing. People's going to start seeing it now. They're going to start saying, no, I want to be involved.
We're starting to get that recognition over the last week, 2 weeks or whatever like that. And going back to youth services or whatever and giving them a platform to work from. Not everybody is into running. People say, fuck that, how would you run 5K and 10K? I wouldn't be into it. But I might give them something. I might start them. I might do it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks and say, right, not into this, but I'm into something else. Right? I like that feeling of being active and exercising. We know what that feeling is after doing a little run. Right, if you want to step away from running and go into the gym, and it is them little things, it's platforms, and then maybe they might go in the gym and it'll just help them in a way. You look now, right, in town, it's in town at the moment now, it's if it's not the best dressed, I'm not important. Yes, we had the best of clothes. Now we grow up, we fucking love a tracksuit. Walk, wear slacks or wear shorts. I love wearing my tracksuits. What we want to bring in now is stop thinking what everyone else is doing. Be different. Break the mold. Be different. It's okay to be different. Break the mold. Like going out, getting into the boys, getting into the triathlon, wearing helmets. People laugh at you. Now, we used to slag people years ago, say, hey, helmet head, real men ride women, all that kind of shit. It's the truth though. But you're laughing. It
is the truth. I know.
It's bad though. But see, we want to break the mold as if it's okay to be like that. I don't give a shit if someone says to me, look at him going out in his tri suit on his helmet.
At the end of the day, if he takes a fall while we're out on the bike, smashes his head off the ground, the helmet is there to protect him.
Like, I love the fact that to be different is good. To be something different. Don't have to stand up, grow up and be on street corners. If we start getting into youth services and new projects and summer camps, all that kind of stuff, if we say 100 people, if we can get 10 people out to stay with us and get involved in the club and start getting involved with triathlons, duathlons, trust me, it's not as hard as what people think. It's just a small bit of dedication. And it's even next year integrating the club into towards triathlon and stuff. We want to start taking some of the ladies on board because they have the drive, they have the passion, they have the determination. They can't swim at the moment. But you mark my word, if we were to sit here this time next year, I'd guarantee you 4 or 5 people of the girls out of our group done their first triathlon. No matter what the distance is, and we constantly go back to it, stop focusing on what the distance is. Enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Enjoy everything you're doing. And sometimes we have to literally take a step back and say, Karl, it's moving a little bit too quick. Try and enjoy it.
Because it is a lot of the time you're doing 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and then you're like, you just get caught up in it, and it's just constant. You do one session, and then next of all, the next day is around, you're doing another session. This event is gone. Let's go on the next event. It was only the last event, the 1 year anniversary. We were sitting there, and we were out there giving out the medals, and the photographer was there, and he was taking pictures of a big group photo. He was saying, "Get in, lads," and all the group was buzzing. Me and Dwayne said no. We just stood there and we looked and we said, fucking hell, this is amazing. Just to see them smiles and the people's faces, and they were buzzing after doing that 21k, 10k, 5k full marathon. They probably wouldn't have believed that they do that themselves. We gave them the belief, and people should start believing in themselves, because if we had told them 36 people there last year, some of you will run a marathon next year, told us, fuck off, and you're mad.
I'm mad, fixated now on this funding kind of stuff. My motto was forced up best dressed. That's what I'm always about that. And even in the warm from the club, people say, see fucking him. When you get to the club, it's a bit of crack, but be serious. Over the last year, you'll have a look back on our Instagram page, and any of the listeners are listening, go back on the Instagram page, especially if you're having a bad day. See all the positivity on it. But you have a look at all the gear that people have. You will have a look at all the gear those guys have. That didn't come from massive organizations. I'm not going to start dropping names, but that doesn't come from massive organizations. It comes from me and him ringing people like fucking idiots, saying, give us this funding, give us that funding, give us this. Go on, please, give you 500. Give us $1,000. I'll give you 750. Give me 8.
What was it? Just the first? Well, we got the first top was our blue top, short sleeve top. That was our first top. Yeah, and then the lads from M&R Autos, they helped us then get the next set of tops. They sponsored us.
€2,500 for 120 t-shirts for us.
For long sleeve tops, because then it was coming into the winter and, change. And we had their sponsor on it or whatever. But it's the likes of the people like that. You can't do this without people like that. You know what I mean? Reaching out, helping the community. And that's why we keep going, because there's people within the community willing to help. But there's a line where they can only bring us so far, that you need more than that. You need bigger organisations. You know what I mean? It's okay to sponsor people, but you can only sponsor so much. At the end of the day, they're in businesses, they have to look after themselves, and that's okay. But then it's up to the bigger organisations to go and to pump the money in. And, there's something good here. Helping people, keeping people fit. Could be keeping kids off the corner. Could be, just keeping them out of bad situations.
Remember I said to you about building the team of people around us and the sponsors and stuff. So if you look at our Troiger, everything, that was a vision of seeing the Troiger. And that was a vision of seeing people in front of me, in front of him, on the bikes. And we have all of our sponsors on our Troiger. And it looks so professional. It looks like the club has gone 20 years. And that's the truth, because I'm all about professionalism in regards to how it looks from the outside. Because the more it looks better from the outside, the more it's going to attract. And unfortunately, you have to kind of have that head on you where you have to say, well, yeah, the club is a good bit of crack in the club, but how can we attract more people? I'm all about attracting more people. Personally, the more people we have, the bigger the club is going to get, the bigger it's going to grow. And if we got the right correct funding, and I'm going to go back to it once again, I know we have to finish up, but if there's anybody out there that's listening, if it's businessmen or it's anyone that's looking to invest in something and want to give back to something, I believe with the right amount, X amount of funding we get, I guarantee you, the person that invests in the club will say, that's the best money I ever spent. Because if they seen what really goes on in the club, they be like, that's something money can't buy.
And on that note, lads, we leave it there.
Thanks very much.
Thanks a million for having us on.